Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Am I live? Welcome to New York City. We are inside Central Park. Another beautiful, unseasoned-like spring day. We're going to go for a walk around the reservoir, which is right over there. I'm not watching comments right now because I have to cross. Hold on. Crossing over. Okay. So, we're in New York City Central Park. You can see the skyscrapers off in the background. Way off there is the Central Park South area. And behind me is the reservoir, so we're going to walk around that. Beautiful day. Unseasonably warm. I'm not seeing any comments.
And I feel like you might be doing this kind of like an offering to him because we have 2 dogs.
Hi, guys. This is only my 3rd or 4th HAPS broadcast. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I just figured out the comments. I just saw Pablo. I don't know why. I must have hit something wrong. Pablo, I have a question. Everyone follow Pablo de la Hoya. He's one of the community managers here. He's awesome. The techie guy. Pablo, question. I started this in portrait mode because it's easier for me to walk in the park holding my iPhone in portrait mode. If I tilt this to landscape, will it work, or I have to stay in portrait mode the whole time? I do not know the answer to that question, so I am asking. This is only my 3rd or 4th HAPS, so bear with me as I learn the app. Hey, Jill, Fred! Great to see Jill, great to see Fred. Fred is awesome. So many awesome faces, familiar faces. Hey, Gary. Great to see Gary. Great to see all of you. I don't mean to leave anyone out. It's great to see all of you. It will work, but the frame will stay in portrait. Okay, thank you, Pablo. Pablo, it would be great if at some future release, just like in Periscope, if you tilt the camera to landscape and vice versa, the picture will change along with how you're holding the phone. But I know one step at a time, just throwing it out there, and appreciate you very much. Yassine! Hello, Yassine! So you see the ducks are out, the people are out. Gorgeous day. That's 5th Avenue. We're going to walk all around this reservoir. This reservoir is, thanks, Pablo, this reservoir is 1.58 miles around, approximately 40 feet deep, and holds up to 1 billion, B as in boy, 1 billion gallons of water. After Periscope, Twitter Live. Yes, Jason, that is my understanding. Now, what's great about the HAPS app is it simulcasts. The HAPS app simulcasts across all platforms. So, for example, right now I'm streaming on HAPS, but if you're watching, you can also watch me live right now on YouTube, on Twitter Live, and on Periscope. And if you're also on, I'm not on Facebook or Instagram or Twitch, but I believe HAPS also will simulcast on all those apps too, if you have it. Haley, great to see you, Haley. You lived in Sugar Hill for the summer and you spent most of your week. Pablo, you must come back to New York to visit once it's safe to do so. I would love for you to fly to New York and meet with the New York broadcasters. That would be awesome. You and Peter and whoever else. Once it's safe to do so, have like a little get-together, little meetup. You have to go. Jill, thanks for stopping by. So we're going to walk all around this reservoir. Now, this is going to be boring for some of you because it's going to take about half an hour to get, 20 minutes or so to get around the whole reservoir. It's 1.58 miles around. When we get to the opposite side of the reservoir, you are going to see the most gorgeous view of the Manhattan Midtown skyline you've ever seen. But that's not until we get to the other side. The skyline is behind these trees, which you can't see from this vantage point, but you'll be able to see it crystal clear once we get to the other side. I go jogging around this running track all the time, weather permitting, and today is one of those days, but because I haven't run in a while, I'm going to take it slow today and just walk with you guys. Now, I'm going to show you the Guggenheim Museum. I'm sure many of you have heard of the famous Guggenheim Museum on 5th Avenue. Let me zoom in let me zoom in. I apologize if I'm missing comments. I have to watch where I'm walking. Right there. Do you see that? That is the Guggenheim Museum, right there. The famous Guggenheim Museum on 5th Avenue. I believe that's around 88th, 89th, and 5th. We're going to pass that more closely once we turn the corner and start walking north. Hey, Gary. So let me zoom back out for a minute. I'm still learning zooming in and zooming out. Whoops, I just hit the wrong button. That's on me. I'm still learning. Yeah, Gary just texted Mary. Oh, thanks, Gary. Thanks, Haley. If I missed your comment, please do not take it personally. I have to watch where I'm walking, so my eyes are going back and forth between the phone and where I'm walking. So I may have missed your comments. Just ask me again. I don't know if I still have a signal because, Gary, your last comment is just hanging there. I'll see if more comments come in. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So yes, so if you're watching this right now on Periscope, as you know, Periscope is closing, shutting down at the end of this month, at the very end of March. And I will be on HAPS. And as I mentioned, the great thing about HAPS is it simulcasts live with all the platforms that you're associated with. So even though I'm live on HAPS, using the HAPS app right now, it's also simulcasting live on YouTube, my YouTube channel, my Periscope channel, and my Twitter feed through Twitter Live. And if I were, which I'm not, but if I were on Facebook and Twitch and Instagram, it would be simulcasting on those applications too. I just don't have accounts there, so that's why if you won't see it on those platforms as far as I'm concerned. And a lot of Periscopers have moved to YouTube and also here to HAPS. Another thing I'll repeat in case you missed me the last few days. It's weird, I've never asked for follows when I was on Periscope, but I have to let you know where I'm moving to. So I have to talk about follows now. If you go to my Periscope profile and you just see my profile, I have a link to the HAPS app so you can follow me there once Periscope shuts down. So this running track is approximately 1.58 miles around. You can see the runners and walkers. The views are gorgeous. This is called the Central Park Reservoir. We're approaching Fifth Avenue. That's all Fifth Avenue. We're going to walk all along that. As soon as we make the turn, we're just going to continue in an eastern direction, and then it curves around and starts in a northern direction. The entire reservoir, as I've said several times, is about 1.58 miles around, and we're going to walk around the whole thing. Fred, thank you so much for stopping by. Great to see Fred Ellis. Everybody follow Fred Ellis. Awesome guy. Musician. Fred Ellis worked with Quincy Jones on music. He's a great guy. Very smart, very good at what he does. Ian! Great to see you, Ian. Long time no see. Seeing a lot of familiar faces that I haven't seen in a while. All right, hold on. I got to watch where I'm going. How have you been, Ian? So I'm still learning the app, so there might be times I hit the wrong button or screw up. Hopefully I won't disconnect the whole broadcast. But you don't learn until you continually try. So as each broadcast I do on this new app, the more I will learn. Just like when I started broadcasting on Periscope. I will now do the same learning process on HAPS. As you can imagine, the park is much more crowded than normal. It should not be this warm today. It's about 66 Fahrenheit, which equates to 19 Celsius. Normally it's around 40 Fahrenheit, 45 Fahrenheit. Today it's 66 Fahrenheit. It should not be this warm this time of year, but we will gladly take these beautiful days. And it only means spring is right on the corner. Now next week, the temperatures are going to go back down to how they should be this time of year. So next week we'll be back in the 40s. So I probably won't be walking around the park next week. And it is windy here today, so the wind makes it feel just a tad bit colder than what the thermometer says the temperature is. When we get, for those just joining, I said this earlier, but happy to repeat it. When we get to the other side, the northern side of the reservoir, we're going to face back south, and you're going to see breathtaking views of the Manhattan skyline. Hi, Lisbon. Hello, Lisbon. Yes, this weekend in America. Don't think they do this in Europe this weekend, or they already did. But this weekend in America on Sunday, or Saturday after, I think 2 o'clock Sunday morning, which is after midnight tomorrow, day after tomorrow, Saturday, we set the clocks ahead by 1 hour, fall back, spring ahead. So we have our spring time change, and the clocks will be moved back 1 hour ahead in the just about every state here in the United States. There are a few exceptions. New York is not one of the exceptions. We will be moving our clocks ahead by 1 hour this weekend. Clocks go forward, absolutely, Ian. So we have now made the turn. This is all Fifth Avenue. This is all the Fifth Avenue side of Central Park. So the boundaries of Central Park is Fifth Avenue, where we are, Central Park West, which is across the way. I'm going to show you those views in a minute. And way up north, it goes up to 110th Street. And south, which is behind us, it starts at 59th Street. It's about 645 acres, give or take. That's not exact, but it's close enough. It's, as you can see, I mean, everybody's out today. It's gorgeous. And you can see across the way, that is Central Park West. If you watch my replay from yesterday, I live on Central Park West. I was up on the roof deck filming the sunset. So that's the direction where I live, a little south of where we are, but that's Central Park West, that side of the park. That's where we started this broadcast. And now we're on the Fifth Avenue side. Now, do you remember 5 minutes ago I showed you from a distance the Guggenheim Museum? Here it is on your screen right there. That is the Guggenheim Museum right there. The famous Guggenheim Museum. You can Google it if you're not familiar with it. That is Fifth Avenue and I believe 88th Street or 89th Street. It's in between 88th and 89th. That's my best guess. Haven't been there in a while. The famous Guggenheim Museum right there through these trees. Am I wearing yes, I am. I'm wearing a mask. Yes, I am. That's why I hope my voice is coming through clear and not like gargled, because it is blocked with the mask. Right there. There it is. Guggenheim Museum. Now, hold on. Hold on. I'm going to go right here on the railing. Hold on. Okay. Now, look at that sunset. Look at that. Look at that view. Look at that sunset. I'll pan back to that. But now I'm showing you Central Park West. These are mostly residential buildings aligning the reservoir on Central Park West. Look at that sunset. Look at that. Wow, 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 wow. I can just stand here and watch this. This is incredible. Look at this. Let me zoom in. I'm going to try. Hopefully I won't screw everything up. I'm still learning this app. Look at that. Look at that view. Wow. Hey, Rob, good to see you. Hi, John. Good to see John in Hamilton. Okay, right there. Sun is setting, ladies and gentlemen. I am now at the edge of the reservoir here in Central Park in New York City, in Manhattan. Hi, Timo. Look at that view. Wow, I can just stand here, but we have to keep walking. Because I don't want to, Central Park is very safe this time of day and rush hour, morning, noon, night, early evening. But once the sun goes down, you don't want to be in Central Park once the sun goes down after rush hour. And I think sun sets today a little after 6, and it'll still be fine in the park even right after 6, but I don't want to be walking by myself in the park after it gets dark. But other than that, it's very safe. As you can see, it's a ton of people out right now. So we're going to continue to walk around this reservoir. This is a very famous running track. A lot of movies were filmed here. One of the more famous ones was a running scene. Al Pacino played the devil. His co-star was Keanu Reeves. I believe it was called The Devil's Advocate. There was a scene where a bunch of people were chasing or jogging on this running track and chasing some guy down. And it did not end well for him. They were not good people in that movie scene. And that was filmed right here on the reservoir. And there were many other films and television shows that have, you can imagine, have used this as a backdrop for scenery. Again, here's the Guggenheim Museum, another angle of it. That is the Guggenheim Museum, and this is the Fifth Avenue side of Central Park. Hi, Timo. Hope I still have a signal. I think I do. Still learning this app, so forgive me if I'm missing comments. I'm also watching where I'm walking, so I'm missing some comments. But if I missed your question, just ask me again. Mary, do you see any famous people? No, I don't. I see famous people, which usually happens when you live in a city like New York, because a lot of celebrities live here. But we leave them alone. We do not bother them. The only time I will go up to a celebrity is if I'm in a social event, like a fundraising event that's a private social event, and if they're standing near me, I will go up to them if the opportunity presents itself. Like, for example, I was able to go to Billie Jean King. She's a former tennis star. She had a birthday party at one of the local museums, and it was closed to the public, but I had a connection, so I was able to snag an invitation. I was able to get my name on the invitation. I'm a little sneaky. I don't know her, of course, but I got invited through a connection. And Cyndi Lauper was there, and I went up to Cyndi Lauper, and I took a really fun selfie with her. My next door neighbor in the building next door, John McEnroe, happened to be at the same party, and I introduced him as my neighbor. So that was an interesting discussion. He joked with me. The party was held very close to both of our respective buildings, and he joked with me that we both have a very short walk home after the party's over, which was true. So I have met a number of famous people, but again, I do it only if it's like a private setting, like we're at someone's apartment or at a fundraiser or at a party. I won't just go up to them on the street and start bothering them. One of the nicest celebrities I ever met was Steve Buscemi. He starred in The Sopranos and Boardwalk Something on HBO. He was one of the nicest ones. Well, they were all very nice, but he was really above and beyond nice. Where are you going to do my goodbye? Gary, that is a fantastic question. I don't know the answer to it as of right now. What I would like to do is probably do it either walking in the city like I am now, or on the roof deck, or maybe just from my apartment to say goodbye. I don't know yet, Gary, but you're asking a very good question. You have well-known musical friends. We give them space. Absolutely, Jason. Does Miss Vice President reside in New York City? The Vice President, you're talking about Kamala Harris. I've met Kamala Harris. She's amazing. She lives in Washington, D.C. Let's see. So we are still on the Fifth Avenue side. The camera is now facing the Fifth Avenue side, and now I'm going to turn the camera to my left, which is in a western direction. And now you're looking at the west side. That is Central Park West. And as you can see, there go joggers. This is a running track, so I'm staying way off to the right so I don't get in anybody's way. It's just gorgeous. I can't wait till we get over there to the north side of the reservoir, because then we're going to turn the camera south, and you're going to see a breathtaking view of the Midtown Manhattan skyline. It's going to blow you away. So that's all Central Park West. The camera's now facing to my left, which is west, and that is Central Park West. That building you see, the double tower building, that's called the El Dorado. It's one of the more famous co-ops. It's a residential building in New York. Well, when you live in New York, Rob, it sort of comes with the territory. But like I said earlier, we don't bother them. For the most part, we leave them alone. I've been in close proximity to many celebrities, and I've never bothered them. But I couldn't resist Cyndi Lauper, and of course my neighbor John McEnroe. I had to say hi to them. But other than that, I leave these people alone. And that's why so many of them live here, because we don't bother them. The only people that bother them are the tourists. Marty did yes, Marty 888 NYC has also joined, I believe, the HAPS community, or at least he's testing it out, I should say. I hope he joins, but that's his decision. And of course, we all love Marty. So whatever platform he decides to choose, we support him. But I was very happy to see Marty on HAPS just a few days ago, I think. Or yesterday. It may have been as recent as yesterday. Oh, look at this sunset. Hold on. Look at this. Whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this view. Look at this. Let me zoom in. You've never been to New York, Annie. Annie, that is blasphemy that you've never been to New York. You must come to New York City. Once it's safe, not now with COVID, once it's safe, you come visit. Look at that sunset. Look at that view. I'm going to pan to the left. You can see Midtown Manhattan. I'm going to get you a much better view of that in a few minutes, but that's Midtown Manhattan. Look at this sunset. Now once again I'm facing west. This is Central Park West, where of course that sun is. Sunsets in the west. Right there. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay. I'm going to keep walking. So when we started this broadcast, I said it was 66 Fahrenheit, which is about 19 Celsius. As the sun now is going down, the temperature is going down. The wind has picked up a little bit more. So it's slight chill in the air now. I'm sure it's no longer 66 Fahrenheit, but it's still warm enough. I'm just wearing a sweatshirt, I mean. A hoodie sweatshirt. It's comfortable. I'm not cold, but I feel the temperature change. Again, this is a running track. We're walking around the reservoir. Oh, I should have mentioned this. I've told this story on previous broadcasts. This reservoir, the official name is the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir, but us New Yorkers just call it the reservoir or the Central Park Reservoir. Mrs. Kennedy used to live on Fifth Avenue, right here. This is all Fifth Avenue, in one of these high-rise buildings. And when Mrs. Kennedy would look out her window, this is back in the 1970s, this reservoir back in the 1970s was quite polluted. It was not maintained. It was an eyesore. And Mrs. Kennedy raised millions and millions of dollars and worked with the city of New York and cleaned up the reservoir. And as a result, they named it after her. Thank you for the invitation. Send me an airline ticket. And you'll be in 12 hours. Anywhere. Where do you live? Are you in Asia? Are you in Europe? Are you somewhere else? 12 hours is a long flight, so I'm going to guess you're either in Australia, Japan, China, Singapore, Greece. No, Greece isn't a 12-hour flight. You're in Asia, right? That's my guess. The reservoir I'm on the Fifth Avenue side, so this is all Fifth Avenue, where you see through these trees. This is all Fifth Avenue. And the other side of the park is Central Park West. The park goes as north as 110th Street, and it also goes down to 59th Street. It's about 845 acres, give or take, but that's close enough. You live in Portugal. Okay, Annie. It's not a 12-hour flight from New York to Portugal, because I flew to Barcelona. I think that was an 8.5-hour flight. And we flew over Portugal to get to Barcelona. And that flight, I think, was 8.5, 9 hours. So you can be here in under 12 hours. I've never been to Portugal. I would love to go. I hear it's a beautiful country. Some of my friends have been to Portugal over the years, and they all say how fantastic it is. So we're now at the northern part of the reservoir. I'm going to tilt the camera. Now, see all those buildings off in the distance? That's Midtown Manhattan. I'm going to stop when we get right around the corner here. I'm going to stop and show you some of these famous buildings as the camera points south. Michael Wall Street. Hey, Michael Wall Street. I work in the financial services industry. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining. Philadelphia in the house. Welcome, Philadelphia. Welcome to New York City. She has to pack. Absolutely, Boston Rob. Good to see Boston Rob. Boston Rob, my New York Yankees are in spring training, as is your Boston Red Sox. And I look very much forward to baseball season starting officially in another month or so. And I look forward to my New York Yankees destroying your Boston Red Sox in the playoffs. Let's see. I'm a big New York Yankee fan. So, of course, it's always fun to bust the chops of North Boston Rob. but he's always welcome on here. I enjoy his company very much on these broadcasts. You have to be on 89. Yes, we just passed 89th and 5th. It's right around in that direction, right where the Guggenheim Museum was. And I did show the Guggenheim Museum the broadcast. So we just passed that. Now we're on the northern part of the reservoir, so we're probably in the low 90s right now. 90th Street, 92nd, 93rd Street, maybe as far as 94th. I'm not sure. We're now heading in a western direction, heading back toward the west side of the park. When we get west side, we're going to take a left-hand turn and head south, and then that'll be our complete round trip around the reservoir. Ah, Yassine is a Rays fan. Absolutely. He lives in the Tampa Bay area. Joey! Do you guys see Joey from Brooklyn? Joey is a wonderful broadcaster. He has been broadcasting a lot now on YouTube. So please follow Joey Brooklyn on YouTube. It's the same username that you're seeing. If you like the sunset I just showed you from the park, you're going to love Joey's sunsets. He goes in Brooklyn, Lower Manhattan, shows the sights and sounds of the Brooklyn and Manhattan scene. He's done the Rio de Janeiro festival, goes to really like beautiful museums and churches and festivals and gorgeous sunsets in Brooklyn. Give him a follow. It is gorgeous out. It was 66 Fahrenheit when we started, but it's definitely cooled down from there. All right, I'm going to stop here. Hold on, I got to watch where I'm walking. All right, ladies and gentlemen, look at this view. Look at this view. I am now facing south. All those skyscrapers, that is Midtown Manhattan. Camera facing south. Now, let me zoom in and point out some of these buildings, because some of these buildings have interesting stories to them. All true. Hey, Alf, it's good to see Alf back. All right, I'm going to zoom in here. Hold on. All right, hopefully I didn't lose the signal. Do you see that building right there with the antenna? That is Lexington Avenue and 58th, 59th Street. That is the Bloomberg Tower. So if you ever get your news from Bloomberg, our former mayor, Michael Bloomberg, started that, by the way. That right there is the Bloomberg Tower. Hey, Roy, good to see Don Roy. That right there is the Bloomberg Tower. The top half of that tower is multi-million-dollar condominiums to live in. The lower half is Bloomberg News. Now, right next to that, you see that building sort of has like a black rectangle. That is the Citi building, Citibank building, Citi. Very famous building also. Now, let me continue. Straight away, do you see this tall, skinny building? That is 432 Central Park. I'm sorry, let me start again. I gave you the wrong name. That tall, skinny building is 432 Park Avenue. Now, up until a year ago or two, 432 Park Avenue was the tallest residential building in all of Manhattan. But it's been surpassed, and I'm going to show you which building is taller. But J-Lo used to live in this building with Alex Rodriguez, the baseball star, but they long moved out. And the penthouse of 432 Park Avenue was put on the market for, I believe, $95 million at that time. And a billionaire from Saudi Arabia contacted the architect or the developer and said, okay, I know you're asking $95 million for this penthouse. I'm going to offer you $88 million. Will you accept $88 million? And the developer said, yes, sold. Now, what did the billionaire from Saudi Arabia do when he purchased the penthouse at 432 Park Avenue? He gave it to his daughter. Yes, he gave it away to his daughter. Now, you've heard me tell this story before. I'm going to say it again. Too bad if you heard it before. I'm saying it again. I asked my father if he would buy me a penthouse here in New York City. And do you know what my father did when I asked him that question? He looked at me, he rolled his eyes at me and just shook his head in disgust and did not even verbally respond to me. Can you believe it? So unfortunately for me, I'm not getting a penthouse. But the young lady who lives in the penthouse in that building, it was given to her by her daddy, a multi-billionaire from Saudi Arabia. Yes, I heard J-Lo and Alex broke up. Now let's move a little bit to, this is a brand new construction building. I don't know the name, so we're gonna have to get back to that another time. Now, do you see an antenna? I don't think I can zoom in anymore. I'm pointing at it. Do you see an antenna? Way off in the distance, there's an antenna just popping up right there. That is the top of the Empire State Building. Right there Where that antenna is the tippy top of the Empire State Building. Trump Tower is on 5th Avenue and 57th Street. I don't believe you can see it from here. It's possible it's that black building right there, but I'm not 100% certain. But that right there, I am certain that antenna, that is the antenna, the tippy top of the Empire State Building. Now, Joey sees it. Now I'm going to move a little bit to the right. Do you see this tall building right here? This is now the tallest residential building, not only in Manhattan, but it's the second tallest residential building in the entire world. The tallest, I'm being told, oh, there goes my signal. Oh, okay, let me get back. I'm told I lost my signal, but now it's telling me we're back. That is the Extel Tower, the second tallest residential building in the entire world. The tallest residential building in the world is the Burj Khalifa, which I'm mispronouncing, in Dubai, in the Middle East. So that is the Burj Khalifa, which I'm totally botching and mispronouncing the name, I apologize, in Dubai, is the tallest residential building in the entire world. The Extel Tower is a very close second place, that is still under construction, so it's not yet being sold publicly. We don't know what the pricing will be, but I assure you it's going to be in the millions and millions of dollars. Now, do you see the building right below? Right here. This is a separate building. That's over 88 stories tall. That is 230 Central Park South, I believe, 220 Central Park South. Sting and his wife Trudy recently purchased an apartment there. The penthouse at 220 Central Park South, just the penthouse, went on the market about 2 or 3 years ago for $250 million. Just the penthouse, the Burj Khalifa, thank you, Annie. The penthouse of 220 Central Park South went on the market for $250 million about 2 or 3 years ago. A billionaire hedge fund manager from Chicago called the developer and said, look, I know you're asking $250 million just for that penthouse. Will you accept $225 million? The developer said, yes, sold $225 million. Just the penthouse, $225 million at 220 Central Park South. Sting and his wife also have an apartment, not the penthouse, but they also live in that building. And by the way, when I mention these famous people, I'm only mentioning what is public knowledge. If it is not in the newspapers, if it's not public knowledge, I do not share that information to protect their privacy. But if it's all over the newspapers and public knowledge, like Sting and his wife, then I will mention it. They live in that building. So the sun, as you can see, is starting to go down. It's starting to get a little darker, so I'm going to keep moving here because I do not want to be walking in Central Park by myself after dark. The park is very safe during the daytime and even the very early evening, which is where we're approaching now, very safe, but you don't want to be when it gets really dark by yourself in the park. Other than that, it's perfectly safe. Lady Gaga used to live on 5th Avenue. No, that's not true. I take that back. Let me start again. Lady Gaga used to live on Central Park South, which is where Central Park begins on 59th Street. She used to have a rental in one of not the tall skyscrapers, but one of the lower buildings that's right on Central Park South. She was renting and she moved out. I do not know where she lives now. The singer Tony Bennett, in a different building, also lives on Central Park South. He's just a block or two away from where Lady Gaga used to live, but also on the same street, Central Park South. He still lives in his apartment in Central Park South. I will not tell you which one because it's not public, but I do know which one. Most New Yorkers do, but we will protect his privacy. Lady Gaga used to live on Central Park South. She rented, and when her lease was up, she did not renew, so she mostly spends her time in Los Angeles, but she also has an apartment here in Manhattan. I don't know where she moved to after she left the Central Park South apartment. Do I have connections? What kind of connections? Mary Love from Liverpool. Oh, thank you, Lorraine. I've never been to Liverpool. I've been to the UK. I've been to Surrey, England, and I've also been to London, but I've never been to Liverpool. I would love to go. Hello, Auburn. I have not seen Yoko Ono. I do know that from time to time, now she's much older now, so I don't know if she does this anymore, but there's an area here in the park. It's further south. We're not going to go there today because it's a little bit further south. It's called Strawberry Fields. It's the memorial tribute to John Lennon, and it's right across the street from the Dakota where Yoko Ono lives. She never moved out when John sadly lost his life. She still lives there today. And every once in a while, and she did this quietly, she didn't tell the media, every once in a blue moon, she would go across the street unannounced to visit with the fans at Strawberry Field and just say hello. And I've never met her, but people that have met her there said she could not be nicer. Very kind, warm, wonderful woman. I personally have never seen her. That's all Midtown Manhattan. So we've now made the turn. We're now heading south. This is all Central Park West. We're back on the west side of the park. So we walked all around. That's the Fifth Avenue side. That's where we were earlier. There's the Guggenheim Museum that we passed by earlier. We're now heading back south to where we began this broadcast, but we still have about 10 minutes of walking before we get there. As I said, this is 1.58 miles around, and I'm walking a little slowly, so it's taking a bit of time. Edward Wolf just said, hey, Edward, welcome to my broadcast, Edward. Thank you for being here. So Edward is actually reminding me, I saw he subscribed. For those of you who follow me on Periscope, Periscope is shutting down at the end of March. And some of you are watching this on Periscope right now. I'm on the HAPS app, which is live streaming from Periscope, HAPS, my Twitter live feed, and YouTube simultaneously, which is why I like the HAPS app. It's like a all-encompass, all-in-one app. If you are on Periscope right now watching me, when Periscope shuts down, just move to the HAPS app and you can follow me there. And on my Periscope, I changed and updated my Periscope profile. So if you're on Periscope, just look at my Periscope profile, and I have a link to where I'm broadcasting now on HAPS. So you can easily follow me there. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes I babble on and I don't make things as clear as I intend to. So just let me know if you need me to repeat that again. So that when we started this tour around the reservoir, it was 66 Fahrenheit, 19 Celsius. I don't know what the temperature is now, but it's dropped by at least 5 or 6 degrees. Why? Because the sun is now almost set. It's getting dark. The wind has picked up a bit, and it's getting much cooler, which is perfectly to be expected this time of year. It should be in the 40s Fahrenheit this time of year. We've had an unseasonably warm couple of days. And we are taking, as you can see, the park is packed. We're taking full advantage of it. Just gorgeous. It's now dusk here in Manhattan. Official sunset today, I believe, is 6 p.m. I don't believe it's 6 p.m. yet. I'm not wearing a watch, but we're probably getting close. Hello, Steve and Sylvia. Boston is in the house. Welcome, Boston. I was last in Boston in August. I was right outside of Boston, actually. I was at the Encore Boston Harbor Casino. I had a great time, met some friends up there. And I will be going back to the Encore Boston Harbor, hopefully sooner rather than later. Oh, so it is almost 6 p.m. Okay. 23:58 in Portugal. Gorgeous, gorgeous evening. This is all Central Park West. That's all Central Park West. There's the El Dorado. The El Dorado is a very well-known residential building here in New York City. It's hot and stormy weather coming where you are. Okay. Yeah, we're going back to the 40s tomorrow, where the temperature is going to drop and it'll be colder again, back to the normal temperatures for this time of year all next week. So I probably won't be broadcasting much next week. But once it gets warmer again, I'll definitely be back outside. This is a running track, but there's a lot of walkers on here today. I usually run around this reservoir. 1.58 miles around. This reservoir holds up to 1 billion gallons of water, and on average it's about 40 feet deep. There's the El Dorado. This is all Central Park West now, so we're almost done We've almost made it completely around the entire reservoir. We've probably got about 4 or 5 minutes left of walking. Oh, it doesn't, Kaylee, I believe you. I totally believe you, but it does not feel like 63 right now. It feels like it's in the upper 50s. But that's also because I'm right on the reservoir, so the wind is kicking up a little bit off the reservoir. It might feel warmer once we get away from the water. But it's not cold. I'm not cold. My hands are a tiny, tiny bit cold, but I'm not cold. I'm not uncomfortably cold or anything like that. But it definitely does not feel like 66 or even 63 at this point, which is fine. I've got a nice warm sweater on. Okay. Yes, Michael, I live on Central Park West. This is Central Park West here. I'm just a few more doors down, a little bit further down, but also do live on Central Park West. Last night the last 2 nights in a row, I did a sunset broadcast from the roof deck of the building that I live in. So you can go watch that on replay. Now it dropped again to 61. It feels like it's around, I'd say right now it feels like it's 57, 58. That's how it feels. But if you say it's 61, I totally believe you. But I feel like it's probably 57, 58. Oh, there's a little squirrel. Little squirrel. Where does Lester Holt and Savannah live? I have no idea. They live in Manhattan somewhere, I would presume, but I don't know where. But some of the broadcasters live in the suburbs. They just commute in. But I think Lester lives here in Manhattan. But I can't swear to it. So across the way where the camera's pointing, we walked all along there. That is the Fifth Avenue side. All of that, what you're looking at now through the camera, that is all Fifth Avenue. We walked all around there. And now we're on Central Park West. As I turn the camera to my right, it's now facing west. All these buildings you see is Central Park West. I live on Central Park West, as I mentioned a few moments ago, but just a little bit further down. This is the final home stretch. Probably just another 2 minutes of walking, and we're done with the reservoir. Then I'll walk with you out of the park back onto Central Park West, and then we'll end the broadcast. This is a good exercise, a nice walk. I'm glad you took it with me. And I'll be on probably with you here for another 10 minutes, because even though our walk around the reservoir is just about done, it'll take another 5 or 6 minutes after that to get back to the street level. What a beautiful day in New York City. The park was packed today. If you were with me from the beginning, or if you watched the replay at the beginning, you'll see how many people were in the park when we started this. It was packed. Now that it's getting dark, now that the sun has gone down, the park is emptied out somewhat, but it was really crowded when we started this broadcast. As you can imagine, it was a beautiful day. Everybody wanted to get outside. Just gorgeous out. But of course now that the sun has basically set and it's dusk, the temperature, and I can feel it, the temperature is definitely dropping. Okay, this is the end. We've completely done the entire circle around the reservoir. I'm going to show you. Let me just go here. There are the ducks settling in for the night, and we walked all the way around, ladies and gentlemen, all the way around this reservoir. All the way around. We sure did. What is my favorite meal? Oh, I love seafood. Anything seafood. And shellfish, clams, oysters, salmon, lobster. I mean, I don't have it every day because you don't want to have the same food day after day, but that's my favorite food. I also love Italian food. I'm Italian American. Okay, so now we're done with our walk around the reservoir. So what we're going to do now is head out of the park, and I will stay with you here as we walk out of the park back onto Central Park West. And once we get back to Central Park West, I will end the broadcast. There's another running track. It's also the bridle path, I think they call it, where the horses go. Sometimes you see gorgeous horses people on horseback in the park, but that's usually on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, not on a Friday. What a gorgeous evening. Wow. I'm missing comments. I have to cross over. I'm watching where I'm going. Okay. Yes, masks are mandatory if you're outside in New York City. Yes, it is. Now, if there's no one around me, like right now there's no one within 25 yards of me, so I have the mask at my chin. But if someone starts walking near me, like someone's coming now, I'm going to put it right back over my mouth. You can see that's the Central Park South area, where you see those skyscrapers. We looked at those from the Reservoir about 20 minutes ago as we were walking around the Reservoir. So you can see the park now is emptying out. Once it gets dark, people usually head out, which is what we're doing. Central Park, I've said many times, as in any large city, Central Park is very, very safe during the day. You just don't want to be in the park by yourself after it gets really dark. So that's where we are heading on out of the park now. And it's also getting much more cold. We're still technically in our winter season, so the temperature is starting to drop, and I only have a sweater on. So for that reason also, I want to get back to my apartment. So these buildings again, this is all Central Park West. I'm heading back to my apartment. I'm just a few doors down, slightly further down on Central Park West, but not much. I'm very close to where I live now. Thank you, Gentle Giant. Thank you for being here. There's another view. There's 432 Park Avenue. We spoke about that building earlier. Okay. As you can see, there's Central Park West. You can see the traffic. That's where we're heading. Then I'm going to take a left-hand turn and head back to my apartment, which is a very short walk from here. What a beautiful Friday evening. So glad I got to walk around the Reservoir and through the park with you guys and gals. I enjoyed this very much. I hope you did too. I'll stay with you for about another 3 minutes or so, then I'm going to wrap this up, call it a night. So this is all Central Park West. Central Park West traffic is a two-way street. It goes both north and south. We're going to take a left-hand turn and go south for a very short while on Central Park West. So I'm going to cross because we have the light. All right, so I am not going to watch comments now while I cross the street because I have to watch where I'm walking. So I'm now walking, I will now be walking south. So now we're on Central Park West officially. We are walking in a southern direction. There's the Untitled Tower off in the distance. We spoke about that earlier in the broadcast. That building right below the Untitled Tower is 220 Central Park South. We spoke about that earlier in the broadcast. And right to my left, to your left, that is also Central Park. That's where we just were. We were just here in the park on the left side of the street. What street is famous for shopping? There's a lot of streets famous for shopping. You're probably thinking of Fifth Avenue. We walked along the Fifth Avenue side of Central Park earlier in the broadcast. But where we were walking on Fifth Avenue is all residential. The shopping area of Fifth Avenue is a little bit to the south of where we were walking. So there it is. There's the Extel Tower, and that building right below it. It looks really short, but it's not. It's an 88-story tower building right next to it. That's 220 Central Park South. That's where I told you the penthouse was put on the market for $250 million, and a hedge fund billionaire for Chicago made an offer of $225 million, and that offer was accepted. Just the penthouse. Just the penthouse. And I mentioned Sting and his wife Trudy live in that building. Again, I only share what's public information in the news. If it's not public information, I do not tell you. All right, I'm going to cross the street and then say goodnight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very close to where I live, so I'm going to wrap this up. I really, really, really enjoyed this. I really love this walk. I appreciate all of you. I hope you enjoyed this walking tour as much as I did. Someone's yelling. Someone's yelling, Jesus loves you. All right, let me do this. And there it is. I'm going to leave you with that view of the Extel Tower. All right, everyone, it was great to see all of you. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll be back again soon. There goes my view. Hold on, let me zoom back out. With that, let me zoom back out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for everything. I really appreciate all of you, and we'll be back real soon. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.
That's your phone?